because there are a number of issues with our usual platform. So we are opting for this change today. Now we have looked at different channels of interpersonal communication in the corporate world, and we have also looked at the ways in which this communication should be gender specific and gender neutral and also culturally neutral. Uh, Apart from this, of course, there are the issues of the pronunciation rate of speech in speaking to be considered. So today we are going to look at that aspect before we go into further detail regarding the different types of workplace communication, mostly business telephony and business meetings. Okay. Yes. I hope you can see the PowerPoint. You're able to see the PowerPoint, all of you? The teacher is not able to see. Wasim Khan can see. Others, please type in the box whether you can see, or you can just unmute yourselves and tell me whether the PowerPoint is visible or not. Okay, it's visible, right? Okay, okay. Okay, thank you. Fine. So we are going to look at various parameters which are important as far as professional communication is concerned. Now, speaking in professional situations needs various kinds of competence and different levels of competence. First of all, you need to have a good command of the genre or type where you are speaking or presenting. That is, what kind of occasion is it that you are speaking? And what exactly is it that you are speaking about? Is it a product performance review? Is it a sales talk? What is it that you are presenting or you're talking about? So that also the ability to hold the audience's interest and attention. You know that the audience's attention span in any kind of conversation or presentation is limited. Okay. So 10 minutes at the most. So how to hold on to the audience's interest and attention for a long span of time. That also is an ability, and also the ability to sell well. Okay. You know that much of the time in the corporate world, people are concerned with selling strategies or with making a point about marketing various products, thinking of various innovative approaches to sell things, or various kinds of distribution networks, advertising, and so on. So that kind of grasp, and also the ability to say something with the kind of clarity and effectiveness so that everybody can understand you and you can also understand everybody else. Now, what are the kinds and situations where you'll be speaking? Well, interacting with clients and customers over the phone, what we have looked at in business telephony, giving product updates, giving product updates. Just a minute, please. Okay. mm, giving product updates, giving sales talks, giving short presentations or mini presentations in meetings, giving a product performance review, and also speaking in a video conference. Now, I have actually referred to some of these already. Just a minute. Hello, আমি এখন ক্লাসে আছি. হ্যাঁ, I'm in the class now, right now. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I have actually referred to many of these already. Now, what do you understand by the product performance review? If you could just share that with me. What is the product performance review? The other things I think are fairly understandable because I've referred to them already. What is a product performance review? Let's say that our company is marketing a certain product. Let's say we are selling a new kind of soft drink. Now, I'm selling it in Kolkata and adjoining areas. Now, I have also recently started selling in North Bengal. Now, for some reason, the soft drink, though it has always been performing well in Kolkata and the adjoining areas, is not doing so very well in North Bengal. What is the reason for that? So, I will make a review of the sales performance of the product, covering both the sectors, that is Kolkata and its suburban areas, and North Bengal and adjacent areas. And from this review, I can find out the reasons why it is not doing so well. Okay, so it's understandable. That is a product performance review. Okay, right. Now, there are certain problems that employees or executives have as far as speaking skills are concerned. They lack certain kinds of speaking skills. That is, sometimes they don't have a very good grasp of the discourse genre or the type of speech that they are going to give. Selling strategies of the product or product performance analysis or congratulatory speech or whatever kind is it. Okay, so they don't know all the nitty-gritty or all the techniques of that kind of speech, so they have to find that out. Also, a variety of speaking styles, because if I just speak in a very flat kind of way, it is not going to be impressive. It will not hold the attention of the audience, and people will not be interested in listening to me. Even if I'm speaking on the phone, the customer or client that I'm interacting with will not pay enough attention or focus to what I'm saying, because my style of speaking is very, very dull and unvaried. So that, and the tonal variety, which gives the interest to what you hear somebody saying. This is the important thing, right? Uh, so often customers, look for these things, and executives cannot supply them with these. So this is the stuff of executive training or the in-house training that is offered to our corporate, employees. Now, in generally, they have certain things like they can handle the technical aids well, they know the subject more or less well, and they know the various business terms and expressions that they have to use. Because obviously, you have to use the professional business vocabulary if you are speaking in professional situations, right? I think you will agree with me that that is important. Okay, right? So they know the professional vocabulary. They know something about the technicalities of handling PowerPoints, giving presentations, etc., making PowerPoints. So they know those, but there is some problem with handling the discourse genres or the types of speech and the command, the speaking styles or tonal variety that is required. So today we will take a look at these, that is the discourse genres, command of speaking styles and tonal variety. That is very, very important in holding the audience's interest and attention span, which is important in building up uh, the which is important in building up the presentation as such, or whatever it is that you are interacting with the customers about. And this is what we are going to explore. Okay, just see. Now, if I talk about tonal variation, then there's the question of the tone of voice. When I'm talking about speaking, sometimes you may be able to see the executive or the person who is talking to you, if that person is talking in a video conference or in front of you, in a direct encounter with you, in a meeting, for example, business meeting. But over the phone, when that person is interacting business telephony, or for example, when you are dealing with clients and customers in giving presentations, the tone of voice becomes very, very important. Okay? So if you speak in a monotone, or if there is not enough variety of tones, you will not be able to capture the audience interest. Now, what will be the tone of voice when you say the following? I think all of you can see the slide. Yes, there are certain observations, comments, instructions, which are taken as excerpts from business telephony mostly. So, what is the tone in which you should say these lines? Okay, can you guess that? For example, please hold on. Okay, this one. So, in what situation do you say that? That will be all. Thank you. Thanks for holding. Could you please hold the line? With whom would you like to speak, sir? Can you say? Can you just type in the box? What is the situation when you are going to mention each one of these statements or comments? Just mention. Just type in the box. Please hold the line. Okay. Next one. Please hold on. That will be all. Thank you. Thanks for holding. Could you please hold the line? With whom would you like to speak, sir? So when will you mention these things? What is the context or the situation? Can you just suggest that to me in one sentence? Yes. Can you type in the box? No? What is the situation? Let's take the situation for each one of them. Please hold on. Now, I say something like that when I'm requesting somebody to hold the line while I either check some information or else I am transferring the call. Okay? Or else that will be all. Thank you. Again, I say this when I have finished discussion or I have finished whatever I had made the call about, and the uh, the matter of discussion is now over. Thanks for holding. Again, I say that when I get back to somebody, either a client or somebody who is waiting for me, I've made that person wait because I've been locating some information or putting that person on hold. So I say thanks for holding once I get back to the person. Could you hold the line? Could you please hold the line? Again, this is a more polite form of please hold on. It's a little formal. Could you please hold the line? That is, I'm making a request for the customer or client to hold the line because I am either transferring the call or else I'm looking for some information, searching for some information. With whom would you like to speak, sir? Again, this is very formal. So this is a request for information. You're asking about the person with whom the caller would like to speak. Okay, so you will call that person or you will connect that person on the line. These are the situations for each one of these. Now, what will be the appropriate tone for each one of them? For example, the first one, please hold on. Will I say it like this? Please hold on. Or will I say it like this? Please hold on. Please hold on. Or please hold on. Which one is more appropriate? The first one or the second one? Please hold on. Or please hold on. The first one or the second one? Which one is more appropriate? That will be all. Thank you. The second statement. So when I say it like this, that will be all. Thank you. Or that will be all. Thank you. Or that will be all. Thank you. That will be all. Thank you. Or that will be all. Thank you. That will be all. Thank you. Or that will be all. Thank you. Okay. First one for which one? The second statement or the first one? Please hold on or please hold on. That will be all. Thank you. Or that will be all. Thank you. Thanks for holding. Thanks for holding. Thanks for holding. Thanks for holding. Which one? Could you please hold the line? 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 Which one? With whom would you like to speak, sir? With whom would you like to speak, sir? Could you please hold the line? Could you please hold the line? With whom would you like to speak, sir? Again, you have to decide which one will be more appropriate, which one would be less appropriate, because all of them are not appropriate, as you can understand, because the tone is wrong in some of them. Okay. Okay. What about the following questions? Shall I, will you, could you, may I? Okay. So how should I say? Shall I? Will you? Could you? May I? Will you say it like this? Shall I? Will you? Could you? May I? No, that is too flat. It doesn't put the question properly. So you have to say, shall I? Will you? Could you? May I? Again, affirmative and negative statements like, yes, that's correct. You are absolutely right. No, that's not the case. No, we do not require anything more. No, sir, please exit now. Okay, so yes, that's correct. Not yes, that's correct. You are absolutely right. Not you are absolutely right. No, that's not the case. Not no, that's not the case. No, we do not require anything more. No, we do not require anything more. Not the second one. No, sir, please exit now. Or no, sir, please exit now. So you have to decide which one is more appropriate, which one is less appropriate. Let us now listen to a meeting arrangement, okay, which is made over the phone, okay, and let us see what kind of tone of voice is used by the speakers over there. Okay, let's see. Just give me a minute. Okay. Right.
International Fashion Supplies, Sales Department. Maria Ramirez speaking. How may I help you?
Hello, this is Bob Morgan, Purchasing Manager with Chic Boutique. I'm going to be in New York next week and I'd like to arrange an appointment with your sales director to discuss potential new orders.
I'm afraid Mr. Carey will be away on a business trip all of next week, but I'm sure his assistant, Miss Page, would be delighted to meet with you. Which day would suit you best?
Well, I'm arriving on Monday afternoon and leaving Thursday morning, so any time on Tuesday or Wednesday would be okay.
Let me just check Miss Page's schedule. She's free all Tuesday afternoon. Would that be convenient?
That would be fine.
Shall we say 2 o'clock?
Could you make it a bit later? I may have a lunch meeting on that day.
3 then?
Yes, that would be preferable.
So 3 p.m. on Tuesday, June 24th. Can you give me a phone number where she could contact you if need be?
Yes, my mobile number is 079 455 673 45.
079 455 67345. Got it. And do you know the way to our offices?
No, but I'll be staying downtown, and I'm sure the cab driver will know.
Yes. Well, have a good trip and see you next week.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it. Key phrases. Listen and repeat. I'd like to arrange an appointment with the sales director.
Which day would suit you best?
Anytime on Tuesday or Wednesday would be okay. Let me just check my schedule.
Would Tuesday afternoon be convenient? Shall we say 2 o'clock?
Could you make it a bit later?
Have a good trip and see you next week.
Role play. Now it's your turn to speak. You are phoning a customer to arrange a meeting. Their assistant answers the phone. Listen and use the written cues to give suitable answers. After a pause, you will hear a sample answer, which you will have time to repeat. But don't worry if your original answer was not exactly the same. Okay, let's begin.
Good morning. How may I help you?
I'd like to schedule a meeting with Mr. Wood to discuss our new range.
Of course. Which day would suit you best?
What about next Friday?
Okay, that's fine. Shall we say 10 o'clock?
Could you make it a bit later? I've got another meeting at 9.
Let's say 11 then. Can you give me your number?
Yes, it's 06789 4221.
We look forward to seeing you at 11 then.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
So you can see that this interaction or conversation between different people to negotiate business meetings or interactive exchanges involves a lot of tonal variation, and much of the meaning is actually contained in this tonal variation. So unless you do it properly, you're not going to convey the meanings across to the other side. So that's why it's so very, very important that we know how to speak, when to pause, and what sort of tones will be appropriate. Okay. For example, when we are introducing ourselves, we say, "For those of you who don't know me, my name is so and so. I'd like to introduce myself like this." Again, we introduce the subject like by saying something, using a phrase like, "Today, I'd like to talk about," or "What do we mean by this? Let's see." Okay. So again, this builds up interest if we speak it like this. And also, during presentations, particularly, we do this technique or follow this technique called signposting, where we say something like this. First of all, I'm going to begin with this. Then I will go on to that. After that, finally, I will finish up with this. Or firstly this, secondly, thirdly, and finally. The first point is this, the second point is something else, and the third point is so and so. So these are certain ways of speaking. Again, we mark the transitions between different parts of what we say by using phrases like, "And now I'd like to turn to," "Let's turn to this," "Let's move on to this." And we summarize by saying phrases like, "To summarize the main issues," "To go over the main points once again," like this. Okay. And the ending, we again say, "That brings me to the end of this presentation," or "I'd like to conclude by saying," and again, we invite questions by saying, "I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have," or "Any questions?" Right. So it's important that if executives or students over there, whatever you call them, they're able to provide an arresting opening. They can frame the points clearly for signposting, provide effective transitions, and give a concise summary at the end. Okay? It's very, very important. Now, how to make it interesting? Okay, once again, I will play a very short excerpt of a business meeting and excerpt from arranging that. Just listen to the way that people are speaking over here. Okay. Okay.
Dan, we're excited to start working with you.
Should we set up a meeting to discuss the details of the work?
Yes, that's a good idea.
When are you free?
How about next Tuesday?
I have an all-day meeting on Tuesday. What about Wednesday?
I'm on a business trip on Wednesday. I will be back Friday morning.
Friday works for me. Should we do a lunch meeting?
Sure, I'll put it in my calendar.
Have a good business trip, and I'll see you next Friday.
Dan, we're excited to start working with you.
Should we set up a meeting to discuss the details of the work?
Yes, that's a good idea.
When are you free?
How about next Tuesday?
I have an all-day meeting on Tuesday. What about Wednesday?
I'm on a business trip on Wednesday. I will be back Friday morning.
Friday works for me. Should we do a lunch meeting?
Sure, I'll put it in my calendar.
Have a good business trip, and I'll see you next Friday.
Okay, so it's a question of not only the using the appropriate phrases, okay, but also the appropriate tone of voice where we are speaking in the meeting, right? Okay, let me go back to the presentation once again. Yes, the tone of voice. Now, what is the appropriate tone of voice when you are speaking to an audience in a presentation, or when you are speaking on the phone, or when you are speaking in a video conference? What is important is that you speak up, you speak loudly and clearly, but loudly does not mean that you are shouting at anybody else. It should be, the tone should be resonant and clear, but it should not be so loud that it will jar on the ears or it will hurt anybody's ears. And again, the same point is being repeated or made number of times that you avoid monotony of any kind. The tone should not be droning on like. So today now we are going to look at the sales of the soft drink in North Bengal and the segment in Coach Bihar and also in South Bengal. So that is very, very dull and monotonous. Okay, so that is what we avoid. Otherwise, you will put your audience to sleep. Again, raise your voice at certain points to excite. So we are going to look at the segment in North Bengal where our soft drink has really been performing badly in the last fiscal year. Now, why do you think that is happening? Is there something wrong in North Bengal? Are the young college goers not able to log in and get the soft drink? Or is it something else? Okay. So raise your voice again, drop it to make the audience listen. And I think in Kolkata, and joining it, there is really something else which is important for the success of the soft drink. So what is that? And then again, you can make the audience sit up. So it's almost like you're telling a story. So when we tell a story, you notice that what happens to the tone of voice? It goes up, it goes down. Sometimes we speak slowly when we are narrating something about the background of the character or some past incident. And again, when there's an exciting moment, we again accelerate the pace or we speed up. So just like the varied rhythms of the story, like this, the speaking voice carries different rhythms when you are interacting with the audience while giving a presentation or speaking on the phone in business telephone. So this kind of varied inflection can give the audience some interesting things to think about, or it will stir the audience's interest and also highlight the important points because of the emphasis that you are placing on it. Now, what is the reason for the soft drinks poor performance in North Bengal? Let us think. Okay. So obviously you are highlighting the reasons for the poor performance, okay, in North Bengal. So that is being highlighted because of the stress that you are putting on that. And again, questions will be awakened in the mind of the audience. So it's very, very important that we speak and use the proper intonation patterns, the proper emphasis and pronunciation in order to carry across the right sort of meaning to our audience, whether they be composed of clients, customers, or who else? Okay, fine. Now, what is pace? You tell me, what is pace and what is tempo? You just type in the box, what is pace? Pace meaning, please type in the box. What is pace? Please type in the box. Pace meaning? Sneha, tell me, what is pace? Speed of speech, rate of speech, okay? Motion, yes. We can say that it is the speed at which, speed of utterance. Yes. So how fast or how slow should we speak? That is the question to be considered over here. Not just speaking is not just about the using the appropriate phrases at the right moments. No, it's not just that, but also various other things like what we looked at, the intonation patterns, and also the speed. How fast or how slow should we speak? Now, what is your idea regarding how fast or how slow we should speak? Sorry. Should we speak very fast or should we speak very slow? Suppose I say like this. Our soft drink has been doing relatively well in Kolkata and adjoining areas, but it has not been doing so well in Kuch Bihar, Jalpaiguri, and some other areas of North Bengal. How does it sound? I'm going very, very slow. Or if I say, our soft drink, Rhetoric, has been doing extremely well in Kolkata and adjoining areas in the last fiscal year. However, when we look at the statistics for the sales of the soft drink in North Bengal, particularly in Kuch Bihar, Jalpaiguri, and the other adjoining areas, Darjeeling and other areas, we find that it's not been doing so well at all. So what is the reason for this? Now, I'm going very fast. So which one is preferable? The first one when I'm going slow, very slow, and the second one when I'm going fast, very fast. Which one would you prefer? Or are they preferable at all? Are they preferable at all or no? Wasim is writing no. What about the others? Sritama or Sneha, please write. Whether it is preferable to speak very fast or very slow. So if not, how should we speak? Sneha, are you there in the class? Sneha Ghosh. If you are there, please type in the box. Yes, so please respond. Do you think that it is preferable to speak very fast or very slow? Slow, how slow? I spoke that slow or slower than that? Our soft drink has not been doing so well in the districts of Jalpaiguri and Kuch Bihar in North Bengal. Like this? As slow as this? Is this appropriate? I'm going very slow. Is it okay? Okay, it's very slow. That's right. Yes, it is not appropriate. Why? What happens if I go very slow? I mean, the audience will be able to understand because I'm going so slow. So that's fine. They will not miss any points. But what is the problem if I go slow like that? The soft drink has not been doing so well in the districts of Kuch Bihar and Jalpaiguri in not Bengal. What is the problem? They will lose interest. Okay, Wasim, you're absolutely right. Okay, correct. So if somebody speaks like this for 10 minutes or so, or more than that, what will happen is the audience will immediately go to sleep. Okay, so they are not likely to be at all interested when you speak like this. Okay, so they will fall asleep or they will just go out. They are not going to be interested at all. Okay, it's very boring. Okay, maybe we can get the points, but it is very boring. At the same time, if I speak very fast, then also it is not appropriate, because then it's like, it's like an express train that is going, and it's everything is mentioned so fast that we are not able to grasp it properly. Before that, it is gone. Okay? So that is also not appropriate. So what kind of pace is really appropriate? Okay, if we go back to the PowerPoint, actually a varied pace is better, suited according to the subject. Sometimes we slow down, sometimes we speed up. Our soft drink has not been performing so well in some of the districts of North Bengal, particularly Cooch Behar, Jalpaiguri, and some of the adjoining areas. Why do you think this is happening? Now, in the last phrase that I'm using, why do you think this is happening? I have deliberately slowed down, and I'm putting the emphasis on there in order to highlight the fact that something is going wrong with the sales figures and with the actual sales in the districts of Northern Bengal. Okay, maybe I found out what is it that is going wrong, and I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to pinpoint that now. So because of that, I am slowing down. Okay, and sometimes I might also speed up like this. So we find that the young generation is not buying these cold drinks in North Bengal. In the rural areas, there is no coverage, no publicity of the soft drink. So do you think it is at all surprising that the soft drink is having poor sales? So I am speeding up now. Okay, at other points I might slow down to emphasize, or I might heighten the effects with the voice and with body language. For example, I can say bad management costs jobs, or bad management costs jobs. They mean the same thing, but the way that they are said, because of the pace and the emphasis, will carry a lot of weight. Okay? And pauses in speech are very important, because you can highlight a lot through silence and effective pauses, or pausing at the right moment. Sir Ralph Richardson, for example, said that most precious things in speech are pauses. And the right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a mighty pause, as Mark Twain mentioned. So, a pause suddenly in the middle of speech, it actually acts as a kind of a punctuation mark. Okay? And it is very effective. So I have to use the pause at the right place at the right time. The short pauses can last from half a second to around 2 seconds. Long pauses, to be more effective, can last little longer than 3 seconds. And they can be given before any keyword or phrase. So what about the sales? Okay. So the sales is a keyword. So I will pause before that. And before and after important points. So why do you think this trend is taking place? Brief pause after that, and then again resume. The audience needs these pauses because it acts as a kind of a thinking space. Why do you think the pauses act as a kind of a thinking space? Can you type in the box? Why are pauses called thinking space? Can you just think on this and type in the box? Why are pauses called thinking space? Okay, let me see. Okay, to understand the topic clearly. Okay, fine, good. Shubhashi is saying this. Vasim is writing. Sometimes super speech is also used when you don't want the listener to pay attention to that. For example, in advertisement, at the very end, they say conditions applied so fast. Yes. No, it's not conditions applied that they say. What they say is check the check the offer document carefully before investing. Okay. So instead of that, they say check the offer of document carefully before investing. Something like this. So that's deliberately done. You're right, absolutely right, Vasim. So that is done in order to sort of what is called glossing over. Okay, that's deliberately glossed over so that people don't pay attention to that vital fact that please read the offer document carefully before investing. So if you read the offer document carefully, maybe you will think twice about investing over there. And again, Subhashi is writing, it will help the other person to think more. Yes, the pause is there. Now, if there is a pause suddenly in the middle of a speech, or say at certain points in a speech, I will think, why is this pause there? Okay. So if I think about that, then I will think a little more and maybe I will understand some things which were not very clear to me before. Okay. So these giving these pauses is another way of highlighting or bringing to the fore certain hidden meanings, okay, which otherwise we cannot bring to the fore. Okay, now I would like to go back to the PowerPoint. So this is the thinking space given to the audience, and we, apart from pauses, the other important thing is also the stress that we put, or the emphasis that we put on certain words, phrases, and expressions. Now there is word stress, for example, market share, cost control, or production figures. There's also sentence stress, like anyone can do that, and varying stress radically altering the meaning. The British will never agree to that, or the British will never agree to that, meaning that the Irish or the Dutch might agree, but the British won't. The British will never agree to that, meaning that they might agree to other things, but not this. Okay, the British will never agree to that. They might do other things with it, but they will not agree to it. They will always disagree. And the British will never agree to that, whatever measure is being talked about. Apart from that, other things they might agree with. Okay, fine. So we have to put the stress on the right word at the right place at the right moment. And the intonation pattern, varying the tone and the pitch of the voice, will also create the right effects. And also it will alert us to hidden meanings, like, is Castrol to blame for this price rise? Or who will take the blame for the sudden surge in inflation? The government, the ministers, or the big businessmen? Cost cutting? No way. Okay. That's the proper tone of voice in which they should be mentioned. There are also questions which are called rhetorical questions. This is another technique. We know that rhetorical questions are questions to which the answers are contained in the questions themselves. So they stir audiences' interest and involvement, and they have a technique like first is the statement, then the rhetorical question, then the answer. Like, for example, the fact is cheap imitations of our leading products are flooding the market. So what's the solution? The solution is to push for tighter controls. Okay, there's this statement. The fact is cheap imitations of our leading products are flooding the market. That's the statement. Then follows the rhetorical question after that. So what's the solution? And then a brief pause, and then the answer. The solution is to push for tighter controls. Okay. Now, important points are presenting well, knowing about how to say it, how not to say it, and when to say it, and who to say it to. These are very, very important. Okay. Okay. Now I will show you something else. Excerpts from a business meeting and then a conversation. We will watch it together. Just
at Crown Academy of English. Today's video is an English speaking video. So in this video, you will hear a business meeting between two native English speakers. So the first person is Mrs. Jones, who is American, and she works for a company called Venus Systems. And she is the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. And the second person is Mr. Lewis, who is British. He works for ABC Solutions, and he is the Sales Director. The meeting is at Venus Systems' New York office, and Mr. Lewis has a business proposal for Venus Systems. After the meeting, I explain some useful vocabulary. Okay, so that is the context. Get ready. Here is the meeting.
Good morning, Mr. Lewis. Pleased to meet you. I'm Mrs. Jones, CEO of Venus Systems. Please take a seat.
Good morning, Mrs. Jones. I'm pleased to meet you too. Thank you very much.
Did you find us okay?
Yes, thank you. The map and directions you sent me were a big help.
That's good to know. Did you have any trouble finding a parking space?
No, it was fine. By the way, I really like your offices. What an amazing view.
Yes, I never get tired of that view. It's one of the advantages of working on the 50th floor. Have you been to New York before?
No, this is my first visit. It's incredible how big everything is.
I know what you mean. I've lived here for 5 years and I still feel very small.
Well, thank you very much for agreeing to meet me today.
You're welcome. I have read the email you sent us. So you would like us to sell your products in the USA. Please tell me a bit more about your company.
ABC Solutions is a British software company founded in 2010. Our head office is in London, and we have a second sales office in Manchester, in the north of England.
So you have 2 offices. How many employees do you have in total?
We currently have 143 employees across both offices, and we expect that to grow to 160 before the end of the year.
It sounds like you're growing very quickly. What positions are you recruiting for?
Those new positions are in sales, IT development, and tech support.
Tell me briefly about your company's products.
We develop and sell accounting software to small businesses. The product, which is called ABC Accounts, tracks expenses, sends invoices, manages income, generates balance and income statements, and other reports.
And how can Venus Systems help?
We would like Venus Systems to sell our software in the USA. We understand that you already sell networking products and services to small businesses. We believe your clients would also be interested in our products.
I see you've done your research. It's true that we have a lot of existing clients who could be interested in some accounting software. I would like to schedule another meeting with you, Mr. Lewis, to discuss this in more detail. In fact, this will probably need several meetings. How long are you in New York for?
I'm here for at least a week, although I could extend my stay if necessary.
How about tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.?
Yes, that's fine for me. What would you like to discuss?
I'd particularly like to discuss prices, payment terms, technical support, and training.
That's fine. I agree that we'll probably need several meetings to discuss all that.
Let's have the first meeting tomorrow, and then we can play it by ear after that.
Good idea. Well, thank you very much for your time, Mrs. Jones. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Well, thank you for coming all the way from London. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
What do you mean by public speaking? These are two different words, by the way, public and
Okay, so that was the excerpt. I think it was quite a good one, right? And we look at the tone, the pace of the speech, the way that they are using the right phrases and expressions, and also the tonal variations are coming at the appropriate places and times. So I think it is extremely well modulated. Okay. So this is what we are really aiming for, or what's the ideal that we are going for. Okay, now I would just like to do one activity, one more. That is, last time we had, I think, two worksheets that I have shared with you. That is case studies on culture and agenda vendor quiz. Now, did we do the quiz last time? I was just asking. Was the quiz done last time? Did we do the gender bender quiz last time? Or I had just shared the worksheets with you, but we had not done the quiz. Okay, it's been done. But we have not looked at the case studies, I think. Okay. So I will take a look at the gender case studies which I had given you. No, not the case studies on culture, sorry. That's the wrong one. Yes. Yes, let me see whether I can just display this to you. Yes, I think you can see the worksheet, okay, or the case studies on culture. These are the case studies that are given. I'm reading them out one by one. You can comment. Like the first one is called, there are different titles for the case studies. Again, these are from the corporate work environment. The first one is called Fish Out of Water. Jay is a good worker, a bright and talented young MBA in a public sector firm in Jamshedpur. He is certainly sent by the head office to work in public relations in a large consultancy project in Germany for 6 months. He is overawed by the work environment and finds it difficult to adjust to the surroundings and work culture. He gets shy with colleagues and is nervous of speaking in meetings. He does his work but is very lonely. He cannot adjust to the office parties and social engagements of his colleagues as they have a different culture. What can he do? Okay. Let me just read them one by one, then you will comment. The second one is called Cultural Dominance. Navneet is head of marketing in a big biscuit manufacturing company. He insists that everyone uh, in his office use American English all the time. All emails should be formatted in American style. Customers on the phone are to be addressed in US English accent. Not all customers are American, and all employees find it difficult to comply with these wishes of their boss. In fact, this is causing severe problems in the workplace. What can the colleagues do in this situation? And the third one is called Targeting Cultures. In the sales division of a big textiles manufacturing company, there are employees from different parts of India. S. Mudaliar Reddy is the manager. He prefers all his Tamil and Kannada colleagues over others. He is always targeting his Manipuri colleagues Sulata Lal Singh and Molingatha Himbrom over inefficiency and scolding his Naga employees Mary Ao and Martha Hugh for not meeting the sales targets. He not only blames them for poor performance but criticizes them for their English accent, dress, manners, etc. He does not blame his Tamil and Kannada colleagues even when they fail to meet his sales targets or speak poor English. The employees from the Northeast are getting increasingly demoralized. What can they do? Okay, so what is the solution to each of these problems? The first one is that Jay is transplanted to a European country and he is facing a kind of culture shock over there. He is not able to adjust or absorb the culture that he finds over there abroad. The second one is cultural dominance, where the boss is trying to impose American style culture and US English on his colleagues in the department. And the third one is where we have a manager who prefers Tamil and Kannada colleagues over others and especially targeting the Manipuri colleagues and the Naga employees for not meeting sales targets, inefficiency, and for poor English. Okay. Now, what is to be done in each one of these situations? Can you say? What can be done in all these situations? What about situation 1, situation 2, situation 3? Please think it over and type the solutions that you can think of in the box. Please type in the box. Think over the solutions for all the 3 situations and type in the box. Repeat. Okay. Nothing to repeat. It's very simple. The idea is that there are 3 situations that I have read out in the case studies. Number 1, situation 1 is where the executive is transferred abroad and he faces culture shock with the foreign culture, is unable to adjust to it. So what should he do? Number 2, situation 2 is where the boss is trying to impose American English on his departmental colleagues. And situation 3 is where the manager is discriminating against the employees of other parts of India compared to the Tamil and Kannada employees. Okay, so what can be done? Okay. Because employees are getting hostile over there. So situations 1, 2, and 3. What are the things that can be done? So please think on it and type in the box, or else you can enable your microphones and speak. I don't think it will cause you to spend extra bandwidth if you are just speaking for 1 or 2 minutes on the microphone.
So I think for the first case, the person would adjust gradually. Like if we stay with someone or somewhere, that culture starts like.
Right, right, very good. Yes, that's right. You cannot do it in 1 day. You're right, Vasim. He cannot do it in 1 day because it's a foreign culture and he is not used to it. Any one of us can face a situation like that. And I think all of us will have problems because we will take time to adjust. Yes, you're right. So time is a very important factor over there. But anyway, there has to be some kind of effort on his part also that is required in order to make the adjustment. Okay? What about the second and the third case studies? That is, third one is the discriminating boss, and the second one is the boss who's trying to impose American English on his colleagues. Can any kind of imposition be good? This is doubtful, isn't it? I think all of you will agree with me that if you try to impose something on colleagues or people with whom you're working, it's not going to work so well, right? So what can be actually done over there in that situation?
I think the colleagues should like all the those who are having problems should come together and talk with the boss. Or if the boss doesn't understand, then they should leave the job.
Okay, leaving the job is a very kind of drastic option. I think that is not something that they can go in for because getting another job will be difficult. But yes, you're right that they need to have a dialogue, open a dialogue with their boss by which they should make it clear that yes, speaking in good standard English is very much desirable as far as the workplace is concerned. But using American English may not be a possible option for all employees taken together. Okay. So, for example, if you try that in college, for example, ask the various teachers to suddenly start speaking in American English, so it will be very difficult for them, if not impossible, for many teachers. So, it's not a very viable option. They should make this clear by getting together, as you said. If that does not work, if the boss is still persistent, then they can go to some higher authority with the problem, and they can. I'm not saying that they will complain against the boss, but they will put forth their case, or they can demonstrate to the boss how difficult it can be if they are forced to follow this kind of dictate. That's and what about the third one? Now, Wasim has given us good ideas about both these first ones, first and the second one. So, if I could get some response from somebody else regarding the third one, where we have the boss who is very blatantly discriminating against his colleagues from the Northeast, from Nagaland and Manipur, and he is favoring his colleagues from South India. Okay, because he is himself South Indian, probably. So this is very, very bad. It is discriminatory in the extreme. Okay, so what can be done? Because the colleagues from the Northeast are getting all hostile and alienated. Okay. So what can be done in this case? Can anything be done? Aniket or Rohit, you would like to try this last one? The boss who is discriminating. What can be done? I think we will all agree with the fact that it is an extremely difficult case to handle. Okay? Because the boss, after all, is the person in authority. He is in charge of the section or department. And if he does something like this, then it's very difficult to handle that situation. But still, we should be able to do something. So what can be done in this situation? Because it's actually, is discriminating on the basis of cultures. South Indian culture versus culture of northeastern India. Okay. Can something be done? Because otherwise it is alienating the employees. Yes, there are so many people in the class. Let me see. What about Shutito Kundu or Sonu Kumar Jha? Can you say something? Or can you type in the box? Yes, it's a majority complete. Yes, Sonu, come on. You can speak if you want. Just enable your microphone. This is not my perfect this, so I think you will not face problems. I think today was the first class that you had where you did not get locked out so much or you did not have so many problems, right? Am I correct? Because all those classes that were taking place on my perfectus, I think all the teachers and students were complaining, right? Yes. So it was a good decision on my part, right? To take the class on this GMT, I think. So what can you say about the third one? Anyone, please respond and come up with some idea regarding what can be done. It's a very difficult case, I admit that. Okay, it's difficult to go against your boss if the boss is doing this kind of favoritism or he's, discriminating against somebody based on uh, some sort of cultural background. It's very difficult. But can something be done? What can be done? Obviously, we have to do something. We can't just, let the situation continue like this, or it will go out of hand. So, what can be done? Just suggest something. Akash would like to say. Vasim is saying, can we protest? Yes, certainly we can protest. The employees can protest. They can write a petition to the higher authorities, or they can verbally protest the boss. They can do all these things. That is fully acceptable. But anything else that can be done, because the colleagues from the northeast are getting so alienated that they might be on the point of resigning even from the job. So that will be very shocking if something like that happens. Okay, I think one thing that can be done is that the colleagues from the South Indian states and the northeastern states, they combine together, okay, and they represent collectively to the boss that they are all united, basically, okay, and they are all the same. There is nobody who is different, and if the boss is kind of calling up one section of the colleagues for not being able to meet the sales target, then the other section is equally to blame. Okay, so they will not, get any preferential treatment. So they do not want any preferential treatment. So they say that if somebody is to blame, then everybody is to blame. If somebody is to be praised, then everybody is to be praised. Okay, so they will sort of get together and represent this to the boss. Okay, and sort of they need to point it out that they are all united and one collective force, and that the cultural background really does not matter. Okay, because it is of the least relevance over here what sort of cultural background they are from. It is actually their work that is important over here and not their culture. Okay, so the boss is actually missing the point. Okay, so they have to come together and they have to prove this point to the boss that they will not also accept any kind of preferential treatment if he gives it to them. Okay. Okay, why would they? Aniket is asking. After all, the southern part are getting the advantage. Yes, that's a good question. Right. Why would they? So if they don't do it, then the situation will still go out of hand. Okay. And what will happen is that there will be a clear line of division among the colleagues. Okay. And the northeastern colleagues might even they either go overboard and complain, or they might leave the job. Okay. So do you think that uh, the department will be able to function with less number of people so well? I think they will not, because there will be problems in that case. Okay. So it's the total strength of the department lies in the varied capabilities of the members of the department, and also the number of hands who are working. Three employees in a department and two employees in a department, there is a difference. Okay, there is obviously a difference. If you have to shoulder a lot of other responsibilities. So the colleagues from the northeast, I think they can make this point very clear to their colleagues from the south that if they leave the department, and replacement cannot just be offered, just in a jiffy, so it will take some time. So in this intervening period, how will they manage this extra burden of the workload, which will be on their shoulders if they don't side with their northeastern colleagues? Yes, teamwork is very, very important. You're right, Vasim. And they all need to work together. Also, the numbers of the employees is a very vital factor. Okay, so if there are less number of people in any department, okay, a certain number of people leave, or there's understaffing in any department, that means that extra burden of workload will be on the other people's shoulders. Okay, and then they will not be able to function very productively. So they will be harassed and overburdened with work all the time. Okay, so this will be problematic. So this point has got to be scored, and we have to understand that it's not just a question of getting preferential treatment, because net result will be they will be left in the lurch with all the northeastern colleagues leaving the job, and they will have to shoulder this burden of extra work. Okay, so it will not be very preferable for them. Okay, fine. So thank you. I've discussed the case studies also, which I couldn't discuss last time. I wanted to do some pronunciation activity, but actually I've not been getting anything very suitable to illustrate the kind of things that I've been teaching today, particularly about intonation and pace of speech. Let me see. I will get something together the next time, and we will do those activities together. And also, I will speak about one other topic which is left, so that we will be completing this first unit actually by next week. That is called brand identity and branding. Okay, so that will be the last topic in the first unit. So if you have any questions, you can ask over here. But otherwise, I will. Okay, Wasim is writing something else. If the North Indian employees do not like it, they will share it on social media and recruitment will be difficult. Yes, there will be bad publicity certainly for this particular department, and it will not be so well in the long run, because they will not be able to retain employees or get employees in that case. You're right, absolutely right. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask. No? Okay. Then thank you for joining me today. We will be meeting again, I think, next week with more topics to discuss, like the brand identity, and more quizzes and questions to share. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. Yes, thank you all. Thank you. I'm ending over here. Yes, you can go. Thank you. Thank you all. You can log out of the meeting.